Assalamu alaikum and welcome to this week's session of hashtag Ask Aliza Kim. Now this week's question reads, how can I stop myself from falling into self-righteous mode and from being judgmental of others? Interesting question. Okay, so I think for this question, I really need to kind of confine what we feel and what we think about these terms self-righteous and judgmental, because they are kind of loaded, right? So for the first side of the coin that I want us to think about is the side where the self-righteousness and the judgment is actually showing that we think that we're better than others. Okay, that's one side of the coin. And the other side of the coin, the other scenario is when we actually don't think that we're better than others, but it's just that the way that we've processed things and the way that we're conveying things are just coming out wrong. It's coming out negative, it's coming out harsh, okay? So one side, you don't mean well. You just want other people to think that you're better. And the other side, you actually do mean well, but it's just not coming out right, okay? Okay, so I'm going to assume that you're in the second category. So you are not trying to be better than anyone, but what's happening is that maybe your processing or your words are not coming out the way that you want them to. Okay, so I think I want to give you two hadith. The first one is to help you with the whole self-righteous mode thing, and the second one is to help you with being judgmental. Okay? So the first one comes from Sahih Bukhari, and it basically says that Prophet Muhammad SAW, he used to ask for forgiveness from Allah 70 to 100 times a day. Can you imagine that? I mean, Prophet Muhammad, he's supposed to be a perfect human being, right? He's supposed to be all generous, perfectly trustworthy, completely forgiving, you know, so all these things, even in his anger was, you know, for the sake of Allah. His anger was, you know, angry at something evil that happened, right? So if we're not at that level and we're not even asking for forgiveness 70 to 100 times a day, then what are we doing, right? I mean, there's a difference between being religious and being self-righteous, okay? And the difference really is in how we conduct ourselves and how we convey things, okay? Being self-righteous is being preachy. It's a one-way conversation, right? It's just, I'm right and you're wrong. That's it. When you want to be religious, you share, actually. Being someone who is religious means that you share your values with someone and help them to see the benefit in it. That's the difference, okay? The second part, and I hope that it helps you with the judgmental part. There's another hadith where Prophet Muhammad SAW is recorded to forgive his slave or forgive his servant 70 times a day. Now, this is a servant. Are you dealing with servants? Probably not, right? You're probably dealing with your friend or a family member or a colleague or someone that you've met through them. It's usually not a servant. So if Prophet Muhammad, he's forgiving and making excuses for his servant 70 times a day, how about you? Shouldn't you be making excuses for that other person as much as he was? I mean, 70 excuses is a lot, right? Once you finish the list, basically, you have nothing to say, basically, right? But that's not really the lesson. The lesson is that, you know, you try to think the best for that person. Okay? You try to make an excuse, a credible excuse for that person, whatever it might be, and then you advise them. Again, there's a fine line between judging and giving advice. And what is that fine line? Giving advice, first of all, is always in private. It's never exposing someone. Okay? It's always in private. And it's always something that is going to uplift them. When you judge someone, you're basically oppressing them. You're making them feel bad. You're making them feel small. You're making them feel empty, as though they're not worthwhile. Okay? When you advise them, you're filling them up. You're helping them and you're uplifting them. That's the difference. Okay? So let's focus on these two things. Number one, you need to be someone who is religious. You share. And number two, you need to be someone who advises, you uplift. Okay, let's see if we can turn the whole, self-righteous and judgmental thing around with these two thoughts and these two hadith. And yeah, maybe you can try it out and come back and tell me how it goes. Okay? Okay, so if that content was beneficial for you, please do make sure to like and share it with your family and friends. Also, don't forget to subscribe to my social media handles, and I'll see you guys in the next week of #AskAlizaKim. Assalamu alaikum. Bye-bye.